Hi there. Guess what? It's 2013, and here we are, moving forward in consciousness. We talked about the new year and the new energy coming in this year. And I'm inviting all of you to really think about your spiritual growth and the things that you want to accomplish spiritually this year. I want to really talk to you about something that's very important to the evolution of this planet. And that is to take responsibility for your soul's evolvement. If we all take responsibility for our soul's evolvement, we are going to change the world. Because we're all souls evolving. We all have been here for eons of time. We all have karmic pieces that we're doing. And with that in mind, you know that you need to work in the best interest of the life plan that you have created this lifetime. So we are looking at souls now. And I want to support you this coming year on the evolution of your soul, and to work in the best interest of that soul. So I'm calling forth all souls that have some sort of residence, knowing that they are a soul and that they are consciously aware that there is more to them than meets the eye, the personality self. So I'm calling all of you forth, all over the world, to acknowledge that you are a soul in evolution and you are evolving. You know, there was a time when we were just kind of working on the simplest understanding of our beingness, the simplest. Because we've been along and around here for so many eons of time, we have a lot of baggage that needs to be reduced and let go of. You are a soul that's evolving. And your soul is your true identity. You may think that the ego that you're in or the personality is your true identity. It's so far from the truth. The truth will always be that you are a soul evolving. You know, when I look at all the things that have happened in the last 45 years of my life, on my journey. I need to say on my journey, because I've lived much longer than that, but my journey has been for 45 years when I totally decided that I needed to know who I was in consciousness. I'm sure there are many of you out there that are saying, I know that there's something going on and I can't get my fingers on it. Religion isn't doing it for me. Reading books is not doing it for me. What is it that I'm seeking? Something that's intangible. I don't understand, but I know that there's something out there that I need to find out. And that's your soul calling to you, saying, it's time. It's time to come forth. It's time to start to look at our lives differently than we've ever looked at our life before. We are soul evolutionists. Soul evolutionists. And that is a soul that knows that it has evolved and wants to know its next step in evolution. It accepts the fact that it has been here for eons and eons of time. And it knows it's time for its discovery of its true self. The truth has been here for eons and eons of time. And now the whole truth needs to be looked at in a conscious way. Jesus talked about it. The kingdom of God is within you. Well, the kingdom of God is within you. When you were created as a soul, you had the DNA of God in you. And you came down to the planet and evolved through many stages of beingness. We call that the evolving soul. It moved from this piece of sand to the becoming more and more awake, a little teensy bit awake. And then we began to identify as the simplest thing. Do you remember years ago when we used to see a stone and we used to say the stone has consciousness? The consciousness, and we used to sell those stones. I remember there was a big sale way back in the 60s where you could buy a piece of stone, and then you could meditate on that piece of stone and see what it had to say to you. Really, there was a lot of people that bought those stones, and they meditated on those stones to find out more about who they were, or trying to connect to the essence of the universe, or whatever the purpose was for you personally in developing who you are. So you have been through all these different stages of beingness, very, very huge stages of beingness. And even this plant that's sitting at my side here is alive. It's alive. And it feels my energy. It knows that it has some sense of itself. Doesn't have intelligence. It doesn't have anything but a sense. Now, this is an asparagus plant. And 1969, I bought a bunch of plants because I thought it would be nice to have live things in my house. And I bought all these asparagus plants and all the other kind of plants, and I put them all on my dining room table. And it was late and I was tired, and so I just left them on my dining room table and went up to bed. The next morning, my daughter came in and I said, "Is there somebody in our house?" And they said, "I don't think so." Well, I walked downstairs and I started wondering, is there somebody in my house? I can remember coming downstairs and saying, "If you're in my house, get out of my house. I'm coming downstairs. I'm calling the police." And I walked down the stairs shaking a bit, and there was nobody in the house, and there was nothing disturbed. And I walked into my dining room, and I felt all this energy coming off of the plants on my dining room table. And this asparagus fern, not this particular asparagus fern, but a asparagus fern, as I walked close to it, it started to vibrate with my energy and perk up. And I thought, oh my gosh, it has consciousness. I can talk to this plant. And I took the plant, and you know there's lots of little prickers on this plant. And none of them pricked me. And I remember putting my hand around that plant and saying, "I bless you. I bless you." And I started to understand that that plant had a consciousness, an awareness of me. Of me. And that started a real big question in my mind. What if everything is consciousness? Everything is consciousness. That went through my mind. Is everything consciousness? And I thought, what on earth is this world all about? If everything is consciousness and I'm a consciousness, I need to understand this. I need to be a part of this. And then my neighbor came over with their little small dog, and knocked on the door. I'm still in this kind of awareness, thinking, okay, does this animal have consciousness? Of course it has consciousness. And I sat down and I pet the little animal and I started to talk to it. And as I talked to it, it just perked up its ears and listened to every word I said. And I realized that that was another state of consciousness, another state of awareness. And then I thought, I am a human being. I am a human being. I have consciousness. I have awareness. I need to find out more about who I am. Who am I? Have you asked yourself, who am I? What am I here to do? What am I here to understand? My journey began long, long ago. My journey began when I was part of God, infinite intelligence, and it puffed me out into the cosmic consciousness of this universe. And I needed to evolve through the many states of beingness, from the simplest consciousness, simple, 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 the piece of stone, the simplest, simple. And then evolved through the next stages of vegetable, plant life, fish, animals, then human beings. I became a human being, able to think and figure and understand. What was I all about? I wanted to know. And I dug deep within myself to find out. And I want you to catch this energy and say, I am more. I am more than this body that's sitting here listening to this video. I am more. I want to find out more of who I am. That's the most important thing I can do. And if that is your desire, I'm here to support you 100%. But you need to check it, because you are going to walk out of the third dimensional world into the fourth dimensional consciousness. And I'm going to explain more about that to you. But it's a journey of conscious awareness. Just like when we were an animal, we went through the process of maybe 10 different bodies of animals as we developed and became more consciously aware of who we were. And we became human. And we experienced all the things a human being needs to experience. And then the moment in time comes, the moment when we start to say, there has to be a more. There has to be something else to this. My life isn't working. I'm living in this world where one day I'm happy, the next 10 minutes later I'm very unhappy. What is going on in my world? How am I going to find out what's happening in me? How? And I knew I had to make a commitment to myself. I had to say, I want to open the door to higher consciousness. If everything is consciousness and it's an evolution of consciousness, then I want to connect with that higher consciousness. I insist on connecting it. I wanted more than anything in my life, to know the next evolution of my soul. Because I knew I was more than a human being, and I'm saying to you, you are more than a human being with a personality and ego. You've been a human being 500 times, maybe 10,000 times. Who knows about your history and your evolution? But you know how you have evolved, but it stayed hidden in the essence. And now it's time. It's time to open that door and say, I'm more than this body. I'm more than a human being. There's another aspect to myself. Another aspect. I think about the website now and the iTunes and all the things that are out there. 25 years ago, those were just ideas out in the universe that finally came into fruition and were developed. And we're all enjoying those things. You are also a soul that is being developed. And just like the iPhones and all the other technical equipment that's out there, we are evolving. It is evolving. 10 years from now, what's it going to be like? Who knows? I have no idea, but there's an evolutionary process coming forth. You are evolving. You are ready to move and be a soul evolutionist, a soul in evolution that wants to understand its whole self and says it's time to work in the best interest of my soul. You see, we are very busy working in the best interest of our personality. We will go to the gym and exercise to get a better figure. We will eat certain foods to get a better figure. We'll earn a lot of money to buy a bigger car. Those are all personality, material things that die and disappear when you leave this planet. They die and disappear. What will never leave you and has never left you is your soul. Your true identity has always been there. You may put on a personality self, evolve through the 100 years, 50 years that your soul has wanted to evolve in the parentheses, in eternity. It's just a parentheses. It's just a little parentheses. And we believe in that little, that part of us. We believe in it. But that's not all that we are. So I am going to ask you that are listening to my video to email me, janehart@cfenlightenment.org, and tell me that you're ready to work in the best interest of your soul. I want to hold you in the light every day. I want to hold you and think about you. But I want to know that you're committed. I want to know that there's a part of you that knows that there's more to you than meets the eye. I want your commitments. And many of you have given me commitments in the past. I'm asking again for another commitment. Always another commitment. Because if I have your commitment and your will, you will go far. I will to will the will of God. I will to will that will. God's will is that we wake up in God. That's God's will. So as soon as you will that I will the will of God, then that's your ticket. Your ticket to moving in consciousness. Not my puny little will that I have for little worldly stuff. No, I will the will of God. I will the will of infinite intelligence that created me and that wants me to be exactly like that consciousness. Yes, we're on a journey. This is the first of the year. I want to hear from you. I want you to tell me that you're interested in moving in the best interest of your soul. Because I'm ready to teach you how to move out of the third dimension into the fourth dimension. It takes a while. It's a very narrow road, but worth your time, energy, passion, love, commitment. I say thank you to you that are listening to this and are saying, please help me. Please help me to understand my whole self in God. Please help me to understand my whole self in God. I want to know. We're going to go on a ride this year, a magnificent ride of moving in consciousness. I invite you to do this with me. I invite a new commitment. We commit to all kinds of things, but a commitment to the soul. You're committing to God, your God self. The DNA that you were created in, you're committing. I'm going to find that DNA because it exists in me, and I will move to the next state of my beingness because I'm a soul evolutionist, and I insist on evolving to the next state of my beingness out of humanhood into godhood, into total understanding of my whole self from my tip of my toes to the top of my head. I'm ready, I'm willing, and I will do it. I want that kind of commitment from you. And we can help each other to do just that. We can help each other all the way. Your true identity is the soul. That is your true identity. That is the truth of your being. And I so look forward this next week to hear from you. All you have to do is say, I'm committed. I'm ready. And if you have any friends out there that are committed to, send them this video. Send it to them and say, I'm in a class. I'm in a class that's going to teach me how to work in the best interest of my soul. I'm in a class. I'm ready. If you're in Paris, France, the Netherlands, I don't care. We're all wanting to grow and to change. We are all in this together. Let's help each other to do it. We want to make a difference in the world. Change ourselves. Thank you for being a part of this ministry. The Center for Enlightenment is in you. Have a blessed week.